This is the story of Fallout's sickest lottery and the terrifying downfall of the town and people of Nipton. When heading east up the I-65, we see thick black smoke billowing from the town ahead. In front is a sign that reads, Nipton, jackpot now, redacted, million. More pressing, however, is the man in front of us in a powder ganger jacket seemingly flipping off the town. Turning towards us, he cheers and darts in our direction, manically musing.
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did! Smell that air! Couldn't you just drink it like booze?
Utterly confused, we question. Hey, buddy, are you feeling all right?
Are you kidding me? Never felt better. Yeah!
Okay. What sort of lottery did you win?
What lottery? The lottery, that's what lottery. Are you stupid? Only lottery that matters. Oh my God, smell that air!
Confused, we press on. Are you a powder ganger or?
Powder ganger? What? I mean, yeah, used to be, sure. But not no more. Powder gang is small time, man. I'm a winner! I won the motherfucking lottery!
Right. I think it's time for me to go.
Later.
This Oliver Swanick, former powder ganger, darts off into the Mojave wastes. If we somehow catch up to him, which is actually pretty tough, he will respond from a comically far distance.
Stop bothering me, will ya? I won the fucking lottery! Later.
It's clear that we're going to get no more answers about this so-called lottery from Swanick. However, as we approach the town, we see its tattered flags, decapitated heads on pikes, and the town, thick with smoke, generally set ablaze. And so, it's probably best we backtrack for a moment, back up the I-95 and towards the Mojave outpost. There, you can find a lone sniper overlooking the valley below, including Nipton. Approaching this ranger ghost, she greets.
You a courier? If so, this might be your lucky day. If you don't mind walking a bit. And your eyes are good.
It depends on the work.
I think there's trouble in Nipton. No traffic from there on the roads. And while I can explain that away, the smoke from the town I can't. I'm sure it's been hit. What I need to know is if they survived it. Might be powder gangers with all that smoke in the air. If there's anybody left, they'd be in the Nipton town hall. Go there. Check it out. Let me know what you find.
Why don't you go check it out?
Got my post. Don't think I wouldn't go too. If troubles hit Nipton, town's got enough camping spots to rack up some easy kills. Not about to have Jackson bust my ass again, though. Even if I came back with Caesar's head. Rather be sitting here than in a cell.
All right, if I pass through there, I'll check it out.
Better than nothing, but close to it. Listen, I don't want you getting killed for this. So if you head there and run into trouble, I'm asking for eyes and ears, not your life. All right?
This starts the quest, keep your eyes on the prize, and our goal is to find Nipton's town hall, recon the area, find out what happened to the town, and hopefully stay alive long enough to report back to Ranger Ghost.
Mind yourself on the plank going down.
Back in Nipton, we find skeletal remains crucified on what used to be a power pole, now a makeshift crucifix. With danger afoot, we sneak around Nipton's trading post up the main thoroughfare towards the hall and see a plethora of powder gangers, all hanging from crucifixes. On the hall steps, what appear to be a group of unknown soldiers, ducking out of sight and into the general store. We're surprised to see a slumbering powder ganger sitting on a chair facing the store's only exit. Turning our light on, we startle the man, who angrily barks.
God damn it! I was nodding off until you barged in here, and I don't hurt when I sleep. Just give me some goddamn Med-X and fuck off, will ya?
Did you see what happened outside? Why are you still here?
I don't know. I just love it here. What the fuck do you think, asshole? Prize for second place was I got to live, but they beat my fucking legs with hammers. I'm fucking crippled, get it?
Second place? What does that mean? Before we go into that, we can actually have the opportunity, if carrying Med-X, to give him some or to say, I'm sorry, I don't have any Med-X for you.
Bullshit. You're holding. You just want it all for yourself.
Unfortunately, this boxcar is correct, and so we can, of course, relinquish some Med-X.
Then you're a fucking dream come true, ain't you? How much you gonna give me?
No, he's not exactly grateful.
Big fucking deal. Hand it over.
Now that his pain has subsided, he's ready to answer some questions, and we begin with, what happened to this town?
The Legion happened. What the fuck's it look like?
The Legion? We've heard whispers of the atrocities committed by these bloodthirsty soldiers against those who don't share their values. Apparently the rumors don't scratch the surface of their depravity. Looking back to Boxcar, we question. You're all busted up, how did you survive?
Luck, that's how. I'm just that fucking lucky. You're looking at the second place winner of the Nipton lottery. That asshole Swanick took first place, so him they let walk.
Perplexed as to how winning a lottery means less bodily harm versus, standard monetary gain, we further question. It doesn't make any sense. Tell me about the lottery.
It ain't like we came to Nipton to play it. Me and my crew had it worked out to kidnap some NCR troopers who come to town to get laid. Had it all worked out with the scumbag mayor. We were going to ransom them off, keep their weapons for ourselves, a nice score.
Well, it doesn't seem to have gone well for you. How'd your plan go wrong?
We get in position, and next thing we know, we're surrounded by those fucking Legion freaks. They dragged us and everybody else into the center of town. And that asshole with a dog on his head, he starts talking about how we're bad people. He said we needed to be punished for what we did. Not all of us, but some of us. And then he gives everyone a fucking lottery ticket.
What happened after everyone got lottery tickets?
What do you think? He started drawing tickets and that's how people got punished. First up was the lucky losers. They got decapitated. Guess that's lucky cause it's pretty quick. Then came the crucifixions. God damn, but those went on and on and on. Third place runners-up got enslaved. I got the fuck beat out of my legs and the winner they let go free.
Damn. That doesn't sound lucky at all. What happened to the mayor?
Him? When his ticket came up, they burned him alive on a pile of tires.
You said some of the people were enslaved as well.
Yeah, a bunch of those Legion fucks dragged them off right away. They were headed east, if you're feeling heroic.
Now, we can respond one of two ways, depending on our karmic alignment. The first is to say, not my problem.
That's how I figure it. Got problems of my own to handle.
Which seems to tickle Boxcar's fancy. However, if we are inclined to be a savior of the Mojave, we can say, I'll do what I can to save them.
Don't act like you'd be doing me a favor. I don't give a fuck.
This begins the quest booted to save the enslaved powder gangers. Not that Boxcar seems to care about his brethren.
Later.
Now, if you're thinking, well, powder gangers aren't the best people, why don't you just kill Boxcars and the rest of them? Well, you can. Interestingly, Boxcars, though he claims both his legs are broken, is only crippled in one leg if you decide to attack him.
This is hopeless!
And, funnily enough, if he's killed, you'll gain good karma, however you will fail the quest booted. Instead, we depart the general store, knowing about this macabre lottery, and begin to look for clues as to any survivors around the town. Of course, a handful of the houses just have miscellaneous junk, so we're only going to focus on points of interest that can enhance the story, starting with the small cluster of trailers in the now ironically named Good Luck Trailer Park. Rushing us from a trailer, something unexpected as a duo of bark scorpions begin to attack. Destroying the creatures, we find nearby a Wastelander that is sprawled out and a laser rifle next to their body. What we don't expect is a bark scorpion's ambush. Contending with the fiend, and feeling rather woozy, we collect a small ticket next to the Wastelander. Inspecting it closer, we see it is indeed a lottery ticket that showcases that the lottery is of the big ranch, with two women facing each other, riding faux horses. Inside the nearby trailer, we see it's covered in blood. We also locate some water to Skull after being poisoned, and take a small rest before investigating further. Heading north towards the main thoroughfare, we see a pile of tires set alight, and nearby some human skulls charred near a mailbox. Inside said home, we see that the people there have also been killed upon their mattresses, no doubt dragged outside, to suffer the fate of the rest of the town. Just across the way to the northwest, we enter a house and see just to our left what appears to be a crate of scorpions. Either they're priced for their meat or maybe even fighting, some type of gambling, we're unsure. However, as we search the house, we see a dead legionary. And as we step into the kitchen, deactivate a mine, and hear a strange sound and a whistling behind our ears. Spinning, we see a shotgun is rigged to the doorframe, and we nearly had our head blown clean off. Was this a similar fate of the legionary recruit, or had something else happened? Crouching, we move into the next room to deactivate the mine, and another shotgun goes off, this time harmlessly above our head. Turning, we see several foot lockers at the foot of a bed, and in the bathroom another mine as well as a safe, which can be opened with a very easy lockpick. Inside are 6 40mm grenades and a grenade rifle, plus the Patriot's cookbook. More importantly, somehow, the bark scorpions in their frenzy have broken free. Sleuthing our way around the northeast so that we can face the hall, we find a house with a cow skull on its mailbox, and inside, an aggressive Mr. Gutsy approaches.
Ready to die for your country, you
Taking a breather after the attack, we see that this place is a workshop and sports a working terminal. Checking it for clues as to what happened, we find the entry from someone called Tony the Tinkerer that read, "Things are finally looking up. I got both Gutsies up and running, and this terminal's working too, so I can keep a regular journal. I fixed up a terminal for Mayor Stein too, so he can run his numbers, and got a free turn with Rose as payment. Dare I say, yeah. All I need now is for a new gal to come to Nipton, one who doesn't know anything about me. If I can get to her and show her my gutsies before anyone else can turn her against me, she'll be impressed. And that'll do it. It has to do it. It's not like every man out there can fix up a robot. I'll tell her she'd never have to do housework. That'd be the clincher. It would be so nice not to have to pay Rosie. This writing stuff is harder than I thought. I better stop here. P.S. For maximum impact, only show one gutsy to gal. Let admiration take hold. Then reveal second gutsy. Wow, this Tony seems lonely, using his gutsies to get some of the admiration from the women in town and not have to pay for the pleasure of one Rose's company. And I dare say, whoever this Rose is, I'm going to hazard a guess and say the Legion doesn't take a shine to prostitution. It's clear things went awry. However, as he reports to set up a terminal for this Mayor Stein, perhaps we'll find more clues wherever Mayor Stein presides, presumably inside his second terminal. To add further confusion to this mystery, the other point of interest is a singular building all the way to the northwest. Once inside, we find 4 bodies of NCR troopers. So there are dead powder gangers, legionaries, and NCR troopers. A diverse lottery to be sure. With nowhere else to search, we cautiously walk up the main drag, seeing the crucified powder gangers nearby. Attempting to speak to one, we see that this person appears to be near death, and to remove them from the cross would kill them, so are forced to leave them be. The heads of their fellow gang members, and presumably townsfolk, line the street on pikes. Legionaries and their mongrel pups flank a man wearing a wolf's head, standing patiently, as if waiting for us, in front of the town hall steps. Approaching him, he greets.
Don't worry. I won't have you lashed to a cross like the rest of these degenerates. It's useful that you happen by. I want you to witness the fate of the town of Nipton, to memorize every detail. And then, when you move on, I want you to teach everyone you meet the lesson that Caesar's Legion taught here, especially any NCR troops you run across.
This begins the quest Cold Heart to spread the word of the Legion's atrocities. However, we can immediately become aggressive, saying, I ain't gonna say shit. Your crimes are unforgivable.
As are all crimes. If you feel strongly about it, attack us, and soon you won't feel a thing.
Wolpees will simply walk away, and we can tap him on the shoulder, though he'll casually question.
Was there more for us to discuss?
I said your crimes are unforgivable.
So you've said.
You'll pay for that.
This leaves us the option to attack Wolpies and his legionnaires. As they casually step over our body, it's clear that perhaps frontal attack is not our best option, as Ranger Ghost had warned. So instead we can question, what lessons did you teach here?
Where to begin? That they are weak and we are strong? This much was known already. But the depths of their moral sickness, their dissolution, Nipton serves as the perfect object lesson.
What exactly happened here?
Nipton was a wicked place, debased and corrupt. It served all comers, so long as they paid. Profligate troops, powder gangers, men of the Legion, such as myself. The people here didn't care. It was a town of whores. For a pittance, the town agreed to lead those it had sheltered into a trap. Only when I sprang it did they realize they were caught inside it too.
You captured everyone.
Yes, and herded them to the center of town. I told them their sins, the foremost being disloyalty. I told them that when legionaries are disloyal, some are punished, the others made to watch. And I announced the lottery. Each clutched his ticket, hoping it would set him free. Each did nothing, even when loved ones were dragged away to be killed.
You slaughtered innocent civilians.
Ha! Innocent? Hardly. Cowardly, though. They outnumbered us, yet not once did they try to resist. They stood and watched as their fellows were butchered, crucified, and burned. One by one, they stood and hoped their turn would not come. Each cared only for himself.
Interestingly, you can start to flirt with joining the Legion, saying, sounds like they got what was coming to them.
Yes, they did. As will all the rest of them, in due time. Now go, and teach them what you've learned here. There will be more lessons in the days ahead.
And also, I admire the purity of the Legion's justice.
It has a stark beauty, doesn't it? I'm glad you can appreciate it. Now go, and teach them what you learned here. There will be more lessons in the days ahead.
This will actually come into play later with the quest, as you can side with the Legion. But for now, instead, we can say, I'll tell the NCR about what happened here. I'll do as you ask.
Then I bid you Wale. Until we meet again.
Watch yourself, profligate.
As the Legion members march off, we can't help but look at the nearby carnage.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
As Wolpies leaves, we think on the fact there's only a handful of the Legionaries. How did they overcome a full town of NCR and powder gangers? Something doesn't make sense, however, we do sense the answers lie in the town hall. And with our main mission for Ranger Ghost, we hesitantly step into Nipton Hall. Once inside, we see some Wastelanders dead, left where they were killed. Behind the main counter is a tricky mine and also a worn key, which, if we step over another Wastelander and use said key, in a room to the east leads to the basement, which has some medical supplies among other knickknacks. Heading up the stairs and over more Wastelanders. It seems the Legion mongrels are not aware of our momentary parley, so we're forced to put them down. It's only on the top floor do we find a sign that says Mayor's Office. Once inside, we see a room with a large rug and what appears to be waiting area. On the far end of the room is an average locked door. Inside the supplies room, we locate a plethora of weapons and also items and consumables. And behind the desk, we also lift some Future Weapons Today magazines, as well as a laser pistol and a handful of lottery tickets. On the mayor's desk are mentats, a big book of science, and Programmer's Digest, as well as Mayor Stein's terminal. Looking inside said terminal garners us insight into the grisly fate of Nipton, as the mayor's diary explains. Tony was kind enough to build this terminal and set it up for me. All 30 caps worth of Rosie. Ha! The life of a mayor suits me just fine. I'm glad I didn't go any further east. I'm making plenty of caps here right off Rosie and Sylvia, who attract plenty of interest from troops at the Mojave outpost. Guess you spend enough time standing around that backwater, and you're ready to hop on something that looks like a mole rat and doesn't smell much better. And the local shops are all giving me a percentage of sales to the troops because it's my girls who bring them in. Heh. They thank their shrewd negotiators for getting me to accept a 15% cut instead of 20. Another year in this dump, 2 at most, and it's back to the hub for me. Maybe I'll run for office there. Mayor Joseph B. Stein. Doesn't that look official? Next entry, High Roller. A promising development if I do say so myself. Seems things went to hell at the NCR correctional facility north of here, and escaped prisoners are roaming free. Sounds like a bad thing and would be, but if not for the political acumen and interpersonal alchemy of yours truly, Mayor Joseph B. Stein, Esquire, I sent the gems out to make contact with the prisoners, or powder gangers, rather. They insist on this name, to let them know that Nipton's open for trade, with free turns with the girls as door prizes. Heh, you know they went for that deal. I had sold by a little Jim anyway. Big Jim Rip. I see a lot of potential here so long as I can keep the NCR troops and powders, ridiculous name, from running into each other and shooting it out on the streets. Luckily, the troops only come at night, double entendre, so if the powders will only come during the day again, I'll have them coming, third time the charm, and going. Yours in confidence, Mayor Joseph B. Stein, Esquire. The third and final message reads, I can hardly believe my luck. Literally, I'm agape. Just now, I was approached by a rather intense young man calling himself Mr. Fox. Yeah, right. When we were alone in my office, he let it be known that he's a member of Caesar's Legion. He knew that NCR troops and powder gangers often spend time in Nipton. It turns out that the Legion hates and wishes to make an example of both groups. The NCR for obvious reasons, and the powder gangers for harassing Legion raiding parties on this side of the river. I didn't have to think a moment about Mr. Fox's proposition before accepting it. All I have to do is convince the powders to kidnap the NCR troops at night when both groups are in town. The Legion boys will scoop everyone up. For this simple task, I have been offered 8,000 caps. I could almost go back to the NCR right away, but who knows how much else I might make off this Legion lackey. I'm going to start stockpiling some supplies in a safe house between here and the Mojave outpost, just in case I decide to head back home in a hurry. Very exciting. Signed with a steady hand on the keyboard, Super Mayor Joseph B. Stein III, Esquire. So it appears that this cocky idiot of a self-proclaimed mayor was trying to play all sides with his prostitutes, and the old saying from Landon Ricketts and Red Dead Redemption applies here. If you keep on jumping over both sides of the fence, sooner or later you're going to get impaled. This time by a third party, the Legion. And pay the town did. With this harrowing news, we can actually head up the I-65, trailing behind the Legion, finding some of their raiding parties waiting on the highway for the MCR, all the way to the Legion raiding camp. However, as we see once we enter the camp, although we're allowed access probably because of Woolpies, if we attempt to free the powder gangers,
degenerates like you belong on a cross.
We will be attacked by the Legion.
You pay for that.
There you are.
And killing them will result in us becoming hated and attacked on sight by the Legion for the foreseeable future.
You like that?
To add insult to injury, if we return to boxcars in the general store with the good news, he's not only changed outfits, but he wakes up from his nap demanding,
What is it this time?
I took care of the slave caravan, by the way.
You know what I'd be real excited about? If you'd showed up and saved me before they smashed my legs. Now, why don't you fuck off and let me sleep, hero? That'll be real exciting too.
Now it should be noted outside of the XP in this quest, We can also kill boxcars afterwards for some more good karma. However, it can negatively affect the other quest, Wheel of Fortune, if you still have it active. Heading back to the Mojave outpost, we can find a wandering Sergeant Kilbourne and a prize.
Morning. Coming from the north? Must be crazy to brave those roads.
The Legions attacked Nipton and burned and killed everyone. They wanted me to tell you.
What? There's no way. We're miles from the Colorado. They aren't even waiting for the dam to fall. They're already inside the borders. We'll never stop them. Not at this rate. We're doomed. Thanks for bringing the word. Even if the news is bad, I'll let the men know. You lost?
Funnily enough, you can also attack Kilbourne in the name of the Legion if you have enough favor with them.
Something else you wanted? Legion! Over here!
Heading back up the ramp to Ranger Ghost, we explain.
You check out the Nipton Town Hall yet? Smoke trail's not getting any shorter.
Nipton was attacked by the Legion.
Legion this far west? You're fucking kidding me. That's not outside the border. They're moving in, and fast. Nipton wasn't the most friendly town, but... Alright, thanks for checking on that. Wish it set my mind at ease. Now I'm more on edge than ever.
I'm sorry. Did you have friends there?
In Nipton? Hell no. Town was a shithole, asking to be burned. Just not by Legion. Nobody deserves that. Well, thanks for hoofing it there and back, even if it was bad news. Wish we could spare the troops to go hunting, but orders are to stay put. Fucking Mojave's going to hell, and all I can do is sit here and watch.
Ending the quest, keep your eyes on the prize. We receive NCR fame and 110 XP. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know, and make sure to subscribe for more Dark Lore.